Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Pastor Paul back again with another video. Today I'm out here in my backyard. Man, it's beautiful. It's a great day. And I came to talk to you about dreams. There are three things that I want to tell you about dreams. So hold on tight. Number one, dreams come from God. Dreams come from God to you as a vision for your future. The scripture says that God knows the plans and the thoughts that He has toward you. He says that His plans for you are good and are not evil, and they are to get you to an expected end. Joseph had a dream that was given to him by God. And Joseph's dream was showing him rising up in his life. Not that he be better than anyone else, but that he go farther for God's purposes. Every dream God gives you is given to you because God has a purpose in mind that is bigger than yourself. No dream is meant for the dreamer alone. If it had not been for Joseph's dream and the fulfillment of the dream, then Joseph would have never become prime minister and been able to supply for his family and for the nations during that time. So understand this, that the reason that you can't sleep on your dream is because the God you serve gave you the dream. It's something much bigger than you. It's meant to be a blessing to the nations. And I know some of you are saying, Pastor Paul, how in the world can I be a blessing to my nation? I don't have the education. I don't have the money. I don't know the right people. Can I say something to you? If God gave you a dream, then God will provide for the manifestation of the dream. All God needs for you to do is have faith and put the work in. Number two, barriers. Every dreamer has barriers to their dream. The barriers that I came to talk to you about today are not your lack of money, not your lack of contacts, and it's not your lack of education or ability. It is the barrier in your mind. When you come up against a lack of money or a lack of contacts, or it seems like you have a lack of support toward the accomplishment of your dream, really it's not those things that's the real barrier. It's the way you respond to that. It's how you think about it. You see, it's all about perspective. Some people see the glass being half empty. Some people see the glass being half full. Listen, same glass, different perspective. The person with a half full type of perspective, man, they get the victory every time. It's all about how you respond. What do you say when you come up against some type of barrier? What do you do when you come up against a barrier? Listen, it's what you say and what you do that decides what side of the barrier you're on. Whether you're on the side of the barrier that's keeping you from the dream, or whether you've overcome that thing and you're moving toward your destiny. Listen to me well. If you just think positively, if you just speak to yourself and remind yourself of what God spoke to you when He gave you the dream, if you go to the scripture and you find the scriptures that speak faith, like I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you preach to yourself, because let me get you to understand something. Faith comes by hearing, even if it's your own voice. So listen to me closely today. I'm really passionate about this. You have a dream given to you by God, and you can make it to your dream. Don't let any obstacle keep you from achieving what God has given you to do. You got the enemy, the devil. Everybody's blaming the devil for everything. I just want to step out today and say that everything's not the devil's fault. He can't stop you. He may be busy, but he doesn't have to be productive. And then there are the others, the haters. You know, everybody's talking about the haters. This person trying to stop me from this. This person trying to stop me from that. Let me tell you something. Everybody doesn't know what you're capable of. You're the one who has to know what you're capable of. Everyone may not believe in your vision, but guess what? God gave the vision to you and not to them. The third and final barrier is us. We're the biggest one. We're the only ones who can stop ourselves from making it. The devil can't stop you, and people can't stop you. The only person who can stop you is you. Number three, you can do it. Yeah, I said it, and I mean it too. You can do it. You can achieve your dream. Remember, let's go back. God gave you the dream. That's number one. Number two, there are barriers to your dream. We got that out of the way. Number three, man, girl, you can do it. You can do this thing. Just don't give up. Be persistent. Plan. Give it everything you have. Go at it with all you have. I'm saying, don't just half do it. If you're really gonna go for it with your best. What's your business plan? What's gonna be your method? What's your motivation? You have to be sold out. You have to buy in before anybody else does. You know, so many people want other people to invest in their dream. But you know what? If you don't invest in it, if you don't believe in it, then no one else will. I want to tell you a story about a guy named David. David was a shepherd boy, right? And he went one day to take his brother some lunch while they were on the front line. When David got to the front line, he overheard a giant named Goliath talking big and bad towards God's people. So David was like, what's up? Why won't anybody go fight this guy? He's putting down God's army. We need to do something about this thing. So they told David what the situation was and the fact that they could get paid and they could marry the king's daughter. And David was like, look, dude, I ain't tripping over all of that. The reason that I feel like this giant need to be taken out is because he's talking bad toward God's people. So David went to the king and was like, hey, king, I'll take this guy out for you. And the king said, hold up, David. Man, you're too young. You don't know how to fight this guy. He's been fighting as long as you've been living. There's no way you can beat him. So David reached back into his resume. See, once presented with a barrier, he reached back into his resume and said, wait a minute, king, let me tell you a little bit of something about David. When the lion and the bear came to steal one of my father's sheep, he said, I took it by the beard and I slew it. You see, you got to remember the things that you've already been able to accomplish. Look at the barriers that you've already been able to overcome. These things are fuel for future barriers. David says, I believe I can do this. So then the king says, well, here, take my armor and you can go fight with this. David puts the armor on and he realizes he can't fight in that. That's the next point I want to make. Give yourself permission to be you. Don't try to be like anybody else who does what God's called you to do. Somebody else might have done it before you, but you don't have to do it the way they did it. David said, no, king, I can't fight in this. So David fought with what he knew. He got his slingshot and 5 smooth stones and ran toward his giant. That's the next thing I want to tell you. When you see that obstacle, remember who's with you. If God be for you, who can be against you? Run towards that thing. He ran and he slung that slingshot, and when he released his weapon, it sank into the head of his enemy, and he overcame his giant. You know what? Everybody looks at that story and they're really enthused about David, but they're not enthused about themselves. When I was studying that text, the Lord spoke to me, and this is what he said. And I know people don't believe that the Lord speaks to people, but that's their business. I believe he speaks. He said to me this, Paul, David was a giant killer waiting on a giant to kill. Oh, that thing really blessed me. So guess what? I want to tell you the same thing today. You, my friends, are giant killers waiting on giants to kill. This obstacle that's keeping you from your dream, you're made for this. This is your season. This is your time. All you have to do is remember who gave you the dream. Remember he's bigger than any obstacle that keeps you from the dream. Remember how many things he's brought you over before, and then run towards it, because you, my friend, are on your way to your destiny. God bless you. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Peace.